Hi Libra, welcome to your bi-weekly readings. As always, keep in mind that this is just a general reading, so always take what feels right and with what does resonate within your own life experiences at this time. Also, if you would like a private reading with me, please contact me through the email I put in the description box below. And I also want to tell you that for this bi-weekly, I'll be doing a love relationship dynamic focus as we are approaching Valentine's Day. And not exactly because I give a sense of importance or meaning to the day itself. It's much more that I find interesting how we as unconscious collective pay huge amounts of energy and attention to the matter of relationship issues. So I believe it's a perfect time to ponder upon, question, reflect, and feel what it is that is going on within the dynamics we are attracting in our lives and trying to understand those as a mirror and a reflection of ourselves. So in this issue, I'm much more interested in putting you as an individual in the center of your own life, understanding that what you are attracting is a part of your own inner universe, wanting to be expanded and grow through certain experiences, as hurtful or challenging that sometimes they can be. I know that this many times is a very hard pill to swallow because we tend to avoid and run away from taking responsibility for our own issues and projections within our relationships. Also, by the understanding that the other person is doing exactly the same to us. So, the more we try to detach a little bit from our own emotional attachments to the situation and try to understand it from a much more psychological human behavior and concept, we can achieve some insight and understanding of what is going on. So I just wanted to clarify that to understand my approach, which is the same as the other videos, but to change things a little bit and to indulge in a little bit of curiosity, we'll see what is being manifested at this time for your sign in terms of love and relationships. So Libra, you are in a period of transition and it's a quite fascinating transitional period where at one point there's a sense of huge release and liberation and even beauty in some sense in the struggles that you faced and maybe that you are still facing, and that process itself of release of old baggage and old issues and trauma and situations and relationships that were still very attached to your unconscious, all of that is in a process of understanding itself by actualizing it in meaningful relationships that you are having right now. So this transitional period creates sometimes a little bit of a conflict and a tension within our minds because we are like pulled in two very different directions between the past and the future. And the present seems hard to deal with when we are being pushed to very different directions. And the issue with you at this time is exactly the present time, which is interesting, as you do have in the current position the Five of Swords, which always indicates a period of changes and temporary struggle and turmoil, trying to understand in the face of adversity and challenge what it is that you can do, what it is that you should do, what it is that you shouldn't do. So all of this creates a lot of inner restlessness and a type of battle in your mind between what is right, what is wrong, what I should do, what I shouldn't do. Should I let go of this past situation? Should I look to the future? Should I the problem is actually is doing all of this amount of questions when at this time really you should be um, focusing on what it is that you are feeling and letting it come to you naturally. So your mind is telling you, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, and you keep hearing those voices that create a battlefield. And many times when this is not, when we are not paying attention to this, we are attracting situations outside, which you will have to confront your own inner battle in your mind with actually conflicts and tensions and discussions with people around you, they are just a trigger for you to see yourself on their eyes. So it's like from this energy of combat sometimes, and very defensiveness, and in very sitting in your throne and wanting to sit in your throne and be right or justify your actions by all means, you are hindering the process of understanding that really what's going on and what's creating this is this arising process that you have in the crossing position, and it's the Judgment card in the traditional tarot. So there's a quiet transitional period you are going through, and it calls for a lot of ability for you to understand the subtle but deep energies at work in your subconscious. You may be feeling much more intensely things that you haven't been feeling lately. There's things from the past that can be definitely arising, and there's a quality of wounds healing from this arising process. So you may feel temporarily sad, lost, or feel much more connected with issues from the past that lately you haven't felt, but now you do, because there's a release that is happening, and there's also an understanding of lessons that you had before in relationships that you didn't really understand before, and now you are given a chance to finally understand it and move on to a different direction. Many times this could be indicative of a relationship from the past coming back to your life and pushing you to do this, or simply projecting issues deep within you of things that you still didn't treat yourself, or you still didn't realize yourself, being manifested through the dynamics of the relationships you are having. So there's a release that is happening that is quite intense but beautiful as well, because it's allowing you to touch realms of yourself and of life that you haven't felt before. That's what I felt when I was meditating upon your cards, that you were seeing the beauty even in the tears, in the grief, in the sorrow. You were contemplating the beauty of the universe itself. So it's a very interesting time in terms of relationships to you, because you are like in a portal, going through a portal of deep change, and at the same time of deep understanding of what happened to you before, or what is being shown to you in front of you as a mirror of it. And you're being pushed as well to go to the future, to go to the new, to go to a complete different stage, which is what is approaching you after this release is done, after this battle is seized. So if you feel very defensive, if you engage in fights, if you engage in discussions, if you are in a committed relationship and there's differences of opinions that escalate for tension and fights, if you are not in a relationship and you are just feeling lost between the story of the relationships that you used to have and what you are longing to have right now, know that this is a temporary process, but it's very important, because it's pushing you. This release that is happening, this sometimes sorrow that might be manifested, or sadness, is about contemplation of your own self, understanding your scars, in being empowered by it, not feeling weakened or alone just because you don't have apparently what you are desiring at relationships right now. It's much more about sitting there in nature, appreciating all that it is, appreciating things that sometimes are hard to appreciate, but after doing such a journey, such a long journey in life, when we sit down, and even if you feel sad and lost, when we look back to all that it took us to this exact moment, we tend to go through a process of valuing certain things, and actually being very emotionally touched by whatever happened, because it's part of our journey and it's part of what we are here to experience. And don't be so attached to the feeling of loss or difficulty that you may feel, because it's really temporary. What's going to you, what's crowning you, and what it's in the near future, it's a beautiful energy of new beginnings, potential to move forward, to go to the future, and to leave a lot of things of the past that you still carry within you, that you no longer you need, behind, and to take you to land much more, where you will feel much more in power of where your relationships are going and where your relationships will be. So if you feel that your relationship is a little bit in a limbo state at this time, it is because it's meant to be. It's meant to be, to understand the own potential of that relationship. So let's say that you are in a relationship that's facing some challenges and you feel that it's like in limbo mode. Whatever happens after it, it will give you clarity. If you are still together on board to begin that relationship, but in a complete new way, or if that relationship has served its purpose and it's time to walk away. It really depends upon what's happening in your own individual situation. But what it's shown here, what it's felt here, is it definitely whatever you are having right now is not what is coming to you next, because what's coming to you next is a higher developed state of engaging in relationships, with much more power, with much more strength and determination to achieve something of meaning to you. So crowning you, you have the Chariot. So there's a sense that you will be thinking a lot, you will be projecting a lot, this need to move forward, either with your partner, either within yourself, or either from situations from the past that you just want to leave and feel relieved by. So there's an energy pushing you here because you are putting focus into it, and that's great. And that's why it's promoting the next card that I will show you. There's an opportunity to to bring together your masculine and your feminine energies, either through two human beings being together on their journey, or inside of yourself, joining them, understanding the duality and how to compromise and move together, understand what it is where you want to go, and understand what you achieved until this moment. It was fine and it gave you something, but now it's time to go after something that promises you more growth, a sense of self-satisfaction as well, and bravery to just conquer what it is that you're looking for. So let's say you are interested in someone specifically, but there is not a relationship happening right now. This means that you will probably feel this urge, this rising of energy after the limbo mode is completely released and the judgment is understood. After analyzing what's going on, you will feel this very huge dynamic energy to go after that person, or to go after that situation that you really desire and experience it. Also, you are learning how to be much more yourself in relationships, how to be in relationships and still feel free, and allow that freedom to be an innate conscious energy at work when you are dealing with other human beings. So in the near future, you do have the full, again, the potential, the beginning, leaving things behind, going into a new journey, being sure that what you have no longer serves you, being sure that whatever is in front of you, even if you don't know what it is at this time, you know that it will promise you much more adventure, expansion, and a new life. There is a new stage of relationships approaching. There's a new way, a new vision, a new understanding. And you have been working hard for that. You have here in the recent past the Three of Pentacles. So you've put effort. You've put a lot of effort to try to mature yourself, mature your relationships, bring them to a place of conciliation, of harmony, and of understanding that both parties need to show up. If they don't show up, they are not joining their forces to go in the same direction here of the Chariot. You need to have both parties joining forces to go in the same direction. You need to have both parties showing up. It's the word I've used the most to all these readings, and you are the last sign that I'm doing, is about showing up. So there's a real sense that whatever it's going on with us in terms of relationships, it's about putting that effort. It's about getting dirty in the process, but getting there. Not being afraid, not being afraid to face what we need to face, as uncomfortable as sometimes it may be. But really, with you, there's a sense of beauty to it. It's like either you are or you will be seeing the beauty out of all of that happened, and you feel empowered by the bittersweet taste that you might feel, but you will feel empowered. You will see it. You may cry, but after that cry, you will feel relieved, and you will feel prone to dream and imagine and understand love at a higher octave. I don't know why. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm saying. So, and Libras usually tend to see quite a beauty around things. And I don't surprise myself if you are feeling or if you'll be or if that energy will be manifested, because it's quite in resonance with archetype of energies what you teach us as well, being ruled by Venus, the planet of gracious love. So main words, keywords is transition, limbo, being mindful of your own feelings, not trying to be right, be wrong, defend who's going to win this, who's going to lose this, understanding that love is not really a battlefield, and when it turns to be a battlefield, it's because one of the involved in the story is projecting issues of insecurity within themselves. And take your eyes as well as most as you can of what you want to attract, where you want to go. If you are desiring a new beginning, a new opportunity, a new life, and a new chance with someone, with yourself, or with the relationship you have, put focus into that. Even if you feel that it's not being manifested right now, it surely has all the potential to be. So Libra, I wish you a great, great, great time. Thank you for listening, liking, and subscribing, and hopefully we'll see each other soon.